Hello, my friends. Happy Easter. I am so glad to get to see you today. Are you excited about this day? It's the day when we celebrate hope. And what's our color for today? It's yellow. I brought you to the field of the most yellow I could find. I love these daffodils because when they come up, they remind me that there's hope, that their spring is coming and Easter is coming, and today it is finally here. We get to celebrate He is risen. Jesus came back from the grave just as He said. But let's talk about Easter a little bit. Hey, do you guys have any Easter traditions? Anybody doing an Easter egg hunt today? What about, do you have a pretty Easter dress that twirls, or cute little bow ties or suspenders? I always love church on Easter, seeing how all of you dress up. Maybe take some pictures of your Easter traditions and send them to me, and we could post them on our Instagram because it would be so fun to share that with each other. Let me see, what else is an Easter tradition? When I was a little girl, we would always wear a bonnet and gloves, but we would have a little lamb cake. Have you guys ever seen one of those? And they would have little nests around, and their jelly beans would be the little eggs inside the nest. It was just something sweet we had at my grandma's house. And speaking of my grandma, another Easter tradition I've started since I've been at TVC was to wear this Easter pin. It's not necessarily an Easter pin, but it's a yellow pin. And since that's our color on Easter, I always wear this pin. Now, it's fun because it's yellow. But it's more fun because it reminds me of my grandma, and my grandma is the one who taught me the Easter story. She was the one who took me to church when I was a little girl and made sure that I knew about Jesus. So I love wearing this pin as a tradition, but I love wearing this pin to remember my grandma who taught me to remember Jesus. All right, you guys, are you ready to learn a little bit more about remembering Jesus? How many of you guys came out and made this craft with me? A bunch of you did, and I'm so glad. If you didn't get to make it on Palm Sunday in the park, no big deal. Just get some cut some paper into little squares, and make your own mosaic cross, all right? But let's tell the story today using our cross. So what's this first day? The green. And our action word is praise, and it talks about Palm Sunday, the day when Jesus entered Jerusalem, and everyone threw down their cloaks and their coats, and they lifted up those palm branches and said, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest, praise to the King. What a beautiful day, right? And speaking of King, that's why we choose purple for our second day. And what's our action word for that? You are so right, it's serve, right? And because Jesus was the King, but He taught us to serve. He washed those disciples' feet, right? He was teaching them, but He was teaching us at the same time to serve. And what was the other really important word from this story? Remember. Remember Him. Remember what He was going to do leading into this. And then we went to the orange. That was talking about prayer in the garden. Did you guys find a place this week? Did you find a place to just be alone with God? Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane. He was alone with Him, and He just prayed and talked to God because He knew what was going to happen. And what was going to happen was this red color, sacrifice. He died on the cross for you and for me and for so very many. He took our sin, the things that we do wrong. He took that away on the cross, right? And then finally, we get to our last story, which is the yellow color up here, which is hope. So let's talk about that today. So Jesus died on the cross. They brought Him in and put Him in a tomb, put a huge stone in front of Him and 2 soldiers on the side. Then on the third day, just like He told us, on the third day, an earthquake happened, and the stone rolled away, and who came out but Jesus, just as He said. Jesus went off to go find His disciples, and there were 3 women who loved Jesus so much, and they wanted to come and just dress His linens. You know, they wanted to replace things and put perfumes around Him. That was a cultural tradition back then. They wanted to keep His body nice and put those beautiful perfumes on. So they came to the tomb. And what did they find? No Jesus. He is risen. And at first they're thinking, oh no, did someone steal Jesus' body? But that's not what happened. An angel came out and said, don't worry. He is risen just as He said. And the girls were so happy they ran to tell people. Jesus met his disciples. He talked with them. He stayed with them for a while before he went back up to heaven. But today, we just want to remember. We want to remember that whole story. We want to share that story all 5 of these days. We want to share this whole story with our friends and our family. Go out. Don't let Easter even just be one day. Go out and tell this story. It's called the good news, right? Tell the good news that Jesus took our sin on the cross, but yet he is risen and he lives today in heaven, ready to love you and to love me. It's a good day today. I hope you will get outside, play with your friends, play with your family, but make sure you share this story. Remember him. Know he's there for you. Know he loves you so very much. And know that it's a good day of hope. All right, you guys, I hope you have a beautiful Easter. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.